Okay, hey, howdy, hey, everybody there in video land. My name is Randall Chatlin, and this is a video response to an assignment that I need to do for my special education master's degree, and I believe the class is 501. Okay. I have three questions that I need to answer, so I'm going to go ahead and read the question and then my response to it. What is the special education teacher's role in supporting learning, improving, planning, and practice upholding professional expectations and ethics and collaboratively advancing the profession? So, I honestly think special education teachers are held to a much higher standard than most of our colleagues that we would work with, right? So, the general ed teachers, and while they have their expectations and everything that they need to uphold, I really think that ours is kind of set to a higher degree, mainly due to the paperwork that we handle and the legality of that paperwork, right? So, along with the expectation of completing all of that legal paperwork and making sure it's up to date and everything of that nature, we're expected to uphold professionalism. We're expected to uphold ethics and support our collab teachers or our general ed teachers the best that we can. But each district is different, you know. For example, I came home from work and here I am recording this video. This is exactly what I wore to work. So you know, some districts require a more stricter dress code, others don't. But my district, we is very clear on how we're supposed to interact with not only our colleagues but also the students, and how we approach the classroom setting in terms of that. So, being involved in the planning process of a lesson is instrumental for special ed teachers. I mean, you're talking about offering an insight that most general ed teachers don't even think of, and that is students with disabilities. Oftentimes, being part of that planning process can help a kid float to the top instead of sink to the bottom. I've been involved in a few planning processes where I've had to say, oh, "Wait, let's think about this, right?" Because we have, you know, students with disabilities in the class, and that's I feel like that's going to be a little too much for them. You know, let's rethink about how we approach this, or you know, let's see what else we can do. Let's try a different angle. So that is obviously a huge role that we play in the classroom. So yeah, like I said, I've personally helped in tweaking assignments, supporting students in the classroom, and other various things. Right? Okay. So I understand 5 minutes is like the max, I guess. So I'm at 3 minutes right now. So I gotta. Okay. So the dispositions, we had to fill out a survey, and a lot of the dispositions that are on there, I pretty much strongly agreed with. There's only one that I didn't strongly agree with, and that was the support of politics, religion, and all that stuff. I really don't. Personally, that's just me, an opinion. I don't really think that it has a place in the school, but you know, yeah. So I've been working in the special ed field for about 5 years now. This is my second year of teaching, though. So I've stepped from being a paraprofessional and being in that support role for special ed teachers to now being that special ed teacher that's in a support role for the general ed teachers, which was kind of a bit of a drastic change. Not gonna lie, you know, most of the stuff that I was doing as a para, I kind of already do here as a special ed teacher. It's just with the addition of the paperwork and honestly a lot more. You know what I mean? But yeah, going into the field, I really didn't know what to expect. I was working as a substitute, and then they switched me from substitute to helping the special ed department because a para had resigned. So I was filling that spot basically as a long term sub. Still, going in, didn't know what to expect. I really didn't know how to interact with the kids either because, you know, you hear special ed and you immediately create this picture in your head of what a special ed kid is. And again, not knowing how to interact, I was really closed off to a lot of the kids. I kind of regret doing that now, looking back. I feel like there's a lot of relationships that I could have really built on and established a rapport, but because I went in and I didn't really know how to interact with special ed kids, I didn't. And really, honestly, it's you don't need to treat them any different. They're just regular kids, you know. They've got regular kid problems just like every other, kid. But yeah, I've really changed over the years though. Like if I could take that survey 5 years ago and compare it to the survey that I took today, I really think there would be a lot of drastic differences on how I felt back then versus how I feel now. Now it's just mainly uh, mainly it's just now having to understand that not everybody is open. Not everybody has a perfect life, and not everybody has problem-free living. And the sooner that you understand that going into this field, a lot better it will be. A lot better it will be. So, something that I keep in the back of my brain though. A lot of these kids are dealing with issues that I never dealt with when I was a kid, and I will never deal with them being an adult now. But I mean, you have some kids that are running the household. Parents work all day, so kids come home from school. Your student, I work at the high school, so your student may be the head of the house while the parents are working. So I mean, there's a lot of stress of that on top of what they have to, the expectations of school. So being the good-hearted, genuine person that does take a vested interest in the students and is that emotionally supportive teacher, just like all the questions on the survey, if you agree strongly with all of that, you're in good shape. You are in good shape going into the classroom. Which leads us into the next question, right? Which is, how could personal biases have an expectation could personal biases have on expectations that teachers have for their students? How could these biases affect relationships with students and their families? You know, this is one that is kind of close to home for me. The particular district that I work at, a lot of the general ed teachers, they see special ed or they see IEP, and they hate it. They just immediately just throw up defensive posturing because they feel like they're inheriting a burden, and that is, I feel, a personal bias, right? But a negative one, because I believe you can have be positively biased, and then you can be negatively biased. That's just how I see things, but and that's something that I've had to deal with, and I've had to explain over and over again. They're not different just because they have an IEP. They just need the extra support, and that's what this is designed to do. Some of them, yeah, okay, they have a disability, but really, it's the IEP is there to help you, to help them. You know what I mean? Like, and most of the time, it's not even out of the way. I don't understand it, and I honestly never will. But being mean and ugly to kids that are disabled, that obviously will have a very drastic effect on students and families. And me personally, I don't operate like that. I treat everybody the same. I just don't. Just because you have an IEP, a 504, or hey, you may be one of the moderately or severely disabled or in a self-contained class, I'm still going to treat you the same. I'm not going to treat you any different, and you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Because if you carry a bias towards somebody, and whether it's positive or whether it's negative, it can affect a lot of other decisions that you have in class. Maybe you really like a kid and you catch him doing vape in the bathroom. Well, you may decide, hey, I'm not going to punish you. I'm just not going to take it, not going to do anything. Just, don't do it again, you rascal, you. But, you catch the same kid that you don't like. Oh, I'm going to take that. I'm going to write you up. I'm going to call the parents. I'm going to let the police know. It's just like, that's how bias can really affect a relationship with the student, positive or negative. So there, food for thought. I'm over my limit. I'm way over my limit. I've got 10 minutes and 40 on the clock right now. I'm over my limit, okay? All right? So I'm going to wrap this up. With all that being said, this brings an end to me answering the questions. I understand I kind of rambled there a little bit. I did not read my script, really, at all. I have a whole script typed out right here. Didn't read it. Nope. Should have, but didn't. That's how things go sometimes. But I thank you all for listening, and I hope you all out there in internet land, out there in video land, enjoy the rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever, whenever. I hope you enjoy the rest of it. And I will catch you all in the next one.